Hey, it's Mark. We here at Movies, Films, and Flicks love horror movies, whether it's John's Horror Corner, which started in 2010, or just all the horror data articles that I've posted since 2015. It's been a big staple of ours, and I figured that I would unleash a few of our older podcast episodes, classic episodes, about some horror movies that we love. These are some of my favorite discussions. Obviously, I love every single episode of Movies, Films, and Flicks, but I figured I would just share a few episodes of movies that I absolutely adore. I obviously can't share all of them, but I just figured these are some good conversations. These are some movies I love, and I think you're going to enjoy these episodes. The guests are great. We had a good time talking about it, and I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy these classic episodes. Sorry if you've listened to them before, if you're a long-time listener, but if you're new to the podcast, I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that just asked himself what he has become. It's Johnny Numb.
Yeah, I think what I've just become is a gas siphoner. Is that a band? Is that a band? Yeah, no, gas huffer, I mean, yeah.
Whoa, I was going to ask you if you and I were in a hardcore band, like a hardcore punk, or there's so many different variations of the genre. But if we're in a hardcore band, right, we're like the Japandroids, just a two-man act. We're the White Stripes, the Japandroids, something like that. We're going across the country. I think you nailed our name, the Gas Siphoners.
Yeah, I mean, I could get with that.
Wow. And we would play just little restaurants in front of 8 people who were captivated.
Yes.
Make $6 a show.
I don't know if captivated is the right word, no. Mark, but yeah.
This movie, so I was listening to the commentary by Green Room, one of my favorite movies. Actually, it's one of my top 5 favorite movies of the last 10 years, hands down. I think it's perfect. James Gunn thinks it's perfect. On the Movies, Films, and Flicks podcast, we said it was the best horror film of the decade, which I still back up. So I was just looking through this list that we did on the podcast. So Zach Beckler joined us. He's the director of this really good horror movie called Interior that you can find on Amazon Prime. He's currently in pre-pro on his next movie. But I was looking through this episode we did. And our number 1 is Green Room, our number 2 is Climax, our number 3 is Under the Skin, number 4, Get Out, number 5, Raw, number 6, It Follows, number 7, Bone Tomahawk, number 8, Hereditary, number 9, Neon Demon, The Neon Demon, and number 10, The Blackcoat's Daughter. I love that. And listen, you should know, I love this list. I think it's a good list. I love this list. It's funky enough, but it has the hits. So it's not like a total hipster list, but we're not picking cute either. Does that make sense, Johnny Numb?
No, absolutely, Mark. And actually, I know we were talking before off mic, and I said I might disagree with 1 or 2 of those. I only disagree with 1 of those, really. And the other ones are like solid gold, I think, too. So, yeah.
There's an episode of The Last Knock that you're on. Great podcast, by the way. You and Billy Crash. So listen to The Last Knock. Also, read all of Johnny Numb's stuff. Follow him on Twitter. Awesome. You'll love his reviews. They're much better than mine. That's all I can say. Whenever I read them, I get jealous. And not jealous. There's no jealousy. I just go, man, this guy's good. You got it. This dude nails it. So go read his stuff.
But you know what, Mark? I love the squirrely angles you find for your stuff. And I'm like, I could never do what you do because I'm like, I don't. Those like tiny little angles that you find are just like so out there, but they lead to some really interesting observations.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I was totally fishing for a compliment. That's why I jumped in there and said how great your reviews were. I'm like, you better say it. There's an episode though where you are defending Climax from Billy Crash, and you are making so Billy. I love Billy, but you were not changing his mind. So you'll be like, so in this scene, there's this one take, really long, really excellent shots. All these bodies are in motion. They're one, but then they all fall apart, and it's kind of tragic. He's like, nah, it sucks. And then you go, but then they're kind of doing this really interesting thing. He's like, nah. And I just kept going, man, this is so good. Like, come on, Bill. Like, I was just waiting for him to have that wait, you're right moment. And I love it that he didn't. He stuck to his guns. But I just kept...
He always does, yeah.
And I love it, though. But you kept bringing up these really interesting facts. And not facts, but just really interesting ways to look at it. And I'm in the car nodding my head like an idiot. People are looking at me going, what is this guy listening to? But yeah, so I loved your take on Climax, by the way, because that's our second favorite. I mean, I adore that movie. Punched me in the face, and so did Green Room.
Oh yeah, yeah. Both of them in very unique and different ways, but they're both movies that center around music as well. So it's kind of interesting in that regard.
Oh wow, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Now I want to bring something up to you. I was reading this. I was actually watching this video about how it's called "How Dumb Decisions Matter," and they were talking about Green Room.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy drew a parallel to another movie where people make dumb decisions. But in this movie, he said that people make dumb decisions in a smart way because it's Jeremy Saulnier. But I don't think the decisions in this movie are dumb. And it kind of it has like 1 million views. And he's talking about how there's dumb decisions in Green Room. But the thing about Green Room is these kids in the Ain't Rights, they are in a position that's so over their heads. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how real the threat is. They don't know that they have dogs that are killers. They don't know that they will be shot in the face. They don't know that their hands will be sawed off. The only person who knows this is Imogen Poots' character. She kind of gets it. Amber. Amber knows what's going to happen. When you're talking about dumb decisions, so I don't think you can make dumb decisions when it's light. Sometimes, okay, so if you go upstairs to look in your guest bedroom, if you hear a noise, that might be dumb.
Yeah.
Or if you leave your house to go into the woods without a flashlight, that's stupid.
Right.
That's stupid. But if you, I don't like it when people say, I would do this during the situation where my life is at stake. I burnt my finger one time and I started screaming. Like I was like, oh my gosh, my finger. Now imagine if you're in a life or death situation. You're not thinking. You don't, I don't think these kids knew how real Darcy and his red laces were.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you think that there were dumb, quote unquote, dumb decisions made in this movie? Because it kind of annoys me that there's a narrative about this. And I'm not hating, I just don't see the movie like that.
So, Mark, is this like a YouTube channel like CinemaSins or something like that, where they just pick apart stuff?
I think it's Film School Rejects.
Okay, all right. You know what? I think the thing with Green Room is these characters make decisions that make sense as the situation gradually escalates and as the dawning realizations of what they're thick into, basically, what's going on. The more they start to see the reality of the situation, the more they start to think on their feet and faster. And granted, not all of their decisions are very, I don't want to say they're not smart. Like what you were saying, I don't think they're dumb decisions. I think these are decisions that make sense given the logic of the situation, honestly. I'm thinking of a moment where I don't know how much we want to get into spoiler territory with this movie.
Spoil everything.
Well, Reese, played by Jake Cole, he's sort of the
the jiu-jitsu master, the badass.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu ultimate fighter guy. There's this thing, he gives this speech where it's like, you know what, the longer we stay in this room, the more likely it is we're going to die in here. And in that moment, that line of logic sounds actually pretty sensible. It's like, we got to arm ourselves with what we got, and we just maybe got to make a run for it and see what happens. And granted, it's interesting because he's presented as kind of the tough, badass character, kind of the hothead, I think. Mm-hmm. And he makes this decision, oh, this window's open, I'm going to jump out this window, and immediately someone is waiting there to, give it to him, basically.
Stab him multiple times. And what's interesting, too, about this? I was talking to my wife, Megan, who's on the show a lot, and we were talking. And so I have a background. So I wrestled. I also boxed. Yeah. And I did a lot of jiu-jitsu. I trained MMA for a long time, but then I realized concussions aren't fun. So I stopped. And I was also a bouncer in a bar, a hardcore music bar, where all these bands played, and I had to break up dancing all the time.
Yeah.
But like jiu-jitsu, when he's talking about, it works really great with Big Justin, Eric Edelston, because you're using body weight, you can snap limbs. A lot of people half my size could take me down and rip my arm off just because they know body motion and know how to do that. So, but that's a one-on-one thing. So a lot of these tournaments that he's talking about, you're one-on-one. And so when he goes out there, I bet you hand-to-hand combat, he could take anybody there. But these kids have machetes, guns, and there's attack dogs and knives.
Right.
So he has this elevated confidence, but I think that elevated confidence is what leads to his demise. But when you look at Sam, played by Alia Shawkat, she grabs a fire extinguisher and she blinds them. She buys herself time. When you look at Pat, he kind of absorbs and watches. When you look at Amber, she knows the gravity of the situation, so she is more wary of what can happen. The two first victims are Tiger and the band, right, are Tiger and Reese, and I think they're the ones that go in there without thinking. Do I think that's dumb? No. I just think they're, they got the size, they're big dudes, and so they go into it, and that's what leads to their deaths. But that's why this movie hits me so hard, because you like them. And Jeremy Saulnier said this in his commentary. He just said, I wanted to just get you to like these people, and then I wanted to hurt people. Like, he wanted to just make you feel this violence. And also, one more thing, I'm talking a lot, but I've been, me, man, we're both in love with this movie, so I'm like...
absolutely. It's no problem, because I could go on and on about it too, so yeah.
So I'll go on and on, then I'll let you go on and on. And it's like the Mitch Hedberg joke where he says he plugs up his mic cord, and when he lets it loose, a bunch of jokes come out. Yeah. That's what I am with this movie. And I was talking about the violence in this movie, and I brought this up in another show where there was this TV show. It was a network TV show where there are these spies, and there's a new spy, and he met this woman, and they supposedly fell in love. They became boyfriend and girlfriend, but it turned out she was bad, and she double-crossed him. He got annoyed by that. Like, he was, oh, you hurt me and you betrayed me. He just killed her in cold blood, and then everyone made a joke about it, and they went and drank whiskey. And I was shocked by it. The comical taking of life with no consequences. And I really can't stand that. And that's why I've really enjoyed our feel-good series that we've done with Elle and the house that Jack built and dragged across concrete, because the violence is just so, it's so heavy. And in this movie, the violence plays very real. It's brutal, it's fast, none of it's pretty, it's ugly, and it's bloody. And I think this is some of these movies, I think this and Blue Ruin especially, and Hold the Dark and Murder Party, but that's more heightened, I guess. But just the violence is so. What did the guy say to them about their song that was hard? Didn't he say that was hard as
He just said, that's hard, man. That's the one I did. That's the one I did her to.
Like
when
that,
he
that movie's hard. Like, the violence is hard.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you like that about this film?
I definitely think it's something that makes it extremely effective. I mean, it's not a gore fest. And Jeremy Saulnier is fantastic, as he was in Blue Ruin, I think, at really building tension, because for a while we're just kind of left with a situation where we're not sure how it's going to shake out, and it's all these characters in the titular room talking to someone on the other side of a door, and it's like, for a long time there's not a lot of quote-unquote action going on, and then when it ramps up, it's like, oh my god, it does, like, it hits with, like, really fast, bracing impact. It's like it sounds cheesy to say, but it is an edge of your seat kind of thing where you're probably like clamping down on the armrests, because it is so effective, and it's really rendered, he lets us see enough of it, basically. And the way he photographs it is clever. The scene where Pat fatefully opens that door to toss the gun.
Oh.
And that scene, oh my God, I saw it in the theater twice, and actually watching it several times on Blu-ray since, I still get chills down my spine just in the lead up to that scene, and just knowing where it's going to go, it still works me over every time. So
the practical effects are beautiful on this film. I mean, they are very effective. They're scarce, but they're so strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's excellent. And like, it's just kind of crazy, and that's what I like about this movie. And what Saulnier said about that scene is that's when he wanted people to realize that it was real when that happened. Because, right? I mean, how many people are gonna think to themselves, "I'm gonna get my hands sawed off"? Is that really? Oh, yeah. I mean, when you see that, you know it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Well, and I love the whole thing where there's, again, it's like a testament to how fast the movie goes, because while Pat's getting ready to open up the door, Amber does something smart. She kneels down next to an air conditioning vent or something like that, and she can see out into the hallway. So she sees a set of shoes. Okay, it's like it's Darcy, played by Patrick Stewart, talking to him, but she turns her head a little bit and there's another pair of shoes out there. And then he gets his arm yanked out into the hallway and then it gets hacked up. And it's just fantastic because it's like, oh my God, what's going on there? You can't see it because the door's obscuring what's happening. We see Tiger hitting someone with like a board or like a yardstick or something, trying to pull Pat back into the room. And I think what really gets to me about that scene, Mark, just as a for instance, is the way Anton Yelchin, the dearly departed Anton Yelchin, the way he just bawls when they pull him back in. It is like a child's cry. And it's like, there's something so freaking vulnerable about the way he sounds and the way he looks with his eyes pinned shut. It's like a baby crying. And I'm like, God, I would be right. I would probably be worse than that. That's just, it's horrifying what, happens to him. And when you see like the 3 deep gashes in his arm, it's just, it's horrible. Yeah.
He's such a good actor, Anton, and his work. And actually, I love his work with Imogen Poots, dude. Fright Night in this. I love that movie.
Fright Night is so fun. Yeah.
It's like her. I saw that in a drive-in. It was perfect. But,
man.
His performance as Pat in this movie, it's just really quiet. And it's very real. And I kind of like that about him. I don't know. And I liked how he sat back and how he was quiet. I don't know. Hey, do you want to hear something neat?
Yeah, please.
So I did some research because I love the effects so much. And so the guy that was the head on this special effects head with the makeup, his name's Steve Prouty. And so he's been nominated for an Oscar before. He's Oscar nominated. But he got his start on Bram Stoker's Dracula. And then he was an assistant on that. He worked on, he was a special makeup effects assistant on Bram Stoker's Macula? Jeez, wait. But then he went and worked on Planet of the Apes. He did all the Jackass movies. He went to do Pirates of the Caribbean. He did Hairspray. He also worked on one of my favorite shows ever, Legion. But then he got into Marvel. He was the key special effect makeup effects artist on Zombieland. And he did Goosebumps, but he did Green Room. And so they brought in one of the best to work on this movie. And I can tell. And I think they were really scarce with their gore, but that hand, I can't think of ever. I think there's 2 things that led to that hand. I want to is the surprise that it was so so at that moment how quick and bloody it was. You didn't see that coming, and then just the way Anton pulled it off. But that's man, it got real quick for me in that theater. I was like, I like these kids. Stop doing this to them.
And I think the thing is, like, Pat is kind of he's the first character you see in the movie waking up in the van. He's kind of looked at as, like you said, the quieter, kind of more laid back in the sort of, he's probably the guy who'd like to recede into the background a bit rather than step into the spotlight. And you can tell when Worm, the character who stabs the girl, when he approaches Pat, he's like towering over him, and Pat's kind of like has this hesitant look on his face, and it looks like he wants to like just turn around and run from this guy, but he holds his ground, but he looks petrified the whole time. Yeah.
And I'm going to get us our PG-13 rating, but I think one of the most endearing things about these kids is they ain't rights. They have a dud of a show. They leave it to go play this event where they can make enough money to drive back home because they're on the West Coast. They got to drive back to the East Coast. They can have enough money to drive home. And the first song when they're at this club, so where they're at, where they're at is real. So when I worked at a bar, you see a lot of these hardcore kids coming up, and there's so many different types of hardcore bands. So if it's just like a dancing band, then kids get along. But if there's bands that are more, you're gonna have more fights in certain nights. They're at a bar that's just tough. They're at a real bar. They're at a real bar. And the first song they do, our PG-13 rating, is they do Nazi Punk's Fuck Off. And that's funny. Like, that endears you to them, because that's a ballsy move. And then their next song, they just started jamming out their earlier stuff, what Tad told them to do. And then the crowd just started headbanging. That made me, that was so cool.
Yeah, and that's something that's interesting about this movie, because when I first heard about it, I was immediately interested when I heard, I guess the log line for it or whatever, when it was playing festivals. It's like, oh, a bunch of bunch of punks have to fend off. They see something horrible and they have to fend off these Nazis in this neo-Nazi club. I'm like, okay, I'm in totally. Something that I think is interesting is that you think that synopsis could go one way. It could be just a mindless gore fest where it's like a bunch of guys with Hitler mustaches Sieg Heiling and being caricatures like they would be probably in Eli Roth screen room, but it's not like that. It's like you think, oh, the guys in the audience are going to jump them after doing that Dead Kennedys song, but they don't. It's like, okay, we're here. Let's hang around and see what else they play. We might get into it. And as I blather on, I want to mention something interesting about the music in this movie. There are several scenes where there's no audible dialogue. There's just this ambient sound, kind of. And I think it's interesting that this ambient sound comes into effect kind of in what I call the That's Youth scenes. Like after they get the gas siphoned from the roller rink and they get it back in the truck and they're pushing the truck out of the cornfield at the beginning, there's just this ambient music. And I'm like, sort of the glory days of youth when we could do this, travel across country and with just the clothes on our backs. And there's that scene when they go into the second song at the club. You think they're going to go into the actual song, but no, the music gets more serene again. It gets more ambient and it just focuses on this montage of the band playing and the bodies just bopping around in the pit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I said something like this after it came out while I was watching that. I was like, I've been in that pit before. I've been in that room. I've been stepping on the red Solo cups that people drop on the floor. All of that rang true to me. Yeah.
I was the bouncer, so our bar was tiny, but we had huge bands at the time. As far as we had Terror, Comeback Kid, Horse the Band. I mean, I'm forgetting tons of names of like hardcore people that came. Bury Your Dead came by, and it was a tall, small venue. It was long and thin, but all the dancers would try to smash in the owner's door. So what I would do is I was the lone bouncer in this entire dance, but they all knew me, and I would let them dance. And when I say dance, sorry if I guess I'm explaining to the listeners, and I'm sorry listeners if you know, and I'm sure you do, Johnny, but dancing in hardcore music is just fist flying. A couple people jump in and just start windmilling, and they start punching out, and it's not like a Disturbed concert where you mosh. Dancing's different. And so I was the guy that would stand in front of that door, and what I would do is I would just put my fists out, like hold them out with my fists, so that no one could come through and punch the door open. And I would let them kind of dance for as much as they wanted, but if they got too close to me, I'd just kick them away. Or if they tried to rip the speakers off the wall, I'd carry them out. But I just kind of let these kids do their thing. And it like you said, when people are throwing fists, you expect all these fights. But the kids, I don't know, they hung in there. I mean, this wasn't a neo-Nazi club. It was just like a bar on a Tallahassee Strip in Florida State. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, they handled themselves pretty well. But I guess being in that club, like you said, a dirty club, loud music, kids driving up in vans, really skinny, drinking too much beer. I guess it brings back memories, and it brought back good memories, I guess, of working in that bar and dealing with all these little punks, and praying that the kids from Jacksonville wouldn't come by, so we had a bunch of fights. But no, like he captures a really authentic job, and they built those sets, like so they built a lot of those. A lot of those rooms were just sets on warehouses, and they really did a good job.
They look amazing. Yeah,
they did a really good job capturing exactly kind of that vibe. And I know that Jeremy Saulnier, when he directed this, so he hired his DP, which was Sean Porter. He went on to do Rough Night, Green Book, The Trust, but he did Kumiko the Treasure Hunter. And then you have Ryan Warren Smith, who was a production designer. He did Hold the Dark, True Detective. He's doing Rebel Ridge coming up. He hired them because it was all Saulnier's vision. And so they just worked for him. He didn't bring in a Roger Deakins who would have a lot of input. So I guess he said, this is my movie and this is what we're making. And I think that's one thing we keep getting drawn towards, Johnny, are these auteur films. We have done Dragged Across Concrete, Elle, The House That Jack Built. And I know we've done more. What else have we done?
Only God Forgives.
Oh my gosh, another completely auteur.
Which is like the perfect, summation of that, yeah.
And so it's kind of neat that we keep covering these movies made by these directors. Like they seem like very singular visions, and they're better because of it.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, at the time, I was really gung-ho. I guess I still am gung-ho about A24, because that's what I feel I get when I watch an A24 movie, like whether it's Blackcoat's Daughter or The Lighthouse. I know I'm going to get something, they may be the Hollywood version of an indie studio, but at the same time, they're still putting out stuff that's like, this is stuff I'm not seeing coming out of the mainstream Hollywood machine. So I'm taking it because I think they are fostering a lot of good talent, and really diverse and interesting things are coming out of them. So at the time, A24 was like, quality seal. It's sort of like the approved fresh on Rotten Tomatoes kind of thing for when I watch a movie.
Yeah, people see A24, they kind of know what to expect. They know there's going to be some quality there.
And I definitely agree with what you said, because I do think Green Room comes across as a very individualistic vision that doesn't seem tampered with. If Saulnier had made this in the 90s for Dimension, I can't imagine what it would have turned out like, because they probably would have had 3 different endings for it.
Yeah.
and gone in and reshot the hell out of it. So, I'm glad, my hope is that that's what he wanted to see is what more or less came out on the screen. It sounds like that's what happened for him.
And I love how in the commentary, how tough I don't know if you've listened to the commentary, but he just kept talking about how hard everything was. But he also said, this was my vision. So I made this way. I made it this hard. And he said that his first day on set, Patrick Stewart was on set, he was a complete mess because everything was going wrong, and he was just a flop with Patrick Stewart. And so we walked up to him and said, listen, sir, I'm sorry. And Patrick's like, no, are you doing okay? I'm not worried about me. Are you doing okay? And they had a nice talk. They had a talk, and then after that, it went well.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty interesting to hear that. I like how forthright he is. He just said, this movie was on me, and it was tough. But I knew that this would be one of the last chances I had to make something like this with so much freedom. Because the Hollywood was starting to look at him, and he can't make this with Hollywood. So he embraced it, but he also talked about how hard it was. But it looks, I'm telling you, man, so many movies seem faux to me nowadays. I hate when movies seem faux. There's nothing faux about this. The costuming that's done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these shirts the kids wear, I keep calling them kids, but these shirts that they're wearing, they all look like they've been stretched out. They look like they've been worn for an entire tour. It's a very authentic, man. I think that's why I just lean towards it. It's very, as much as Only God Forgives is manicured with light and careful choosing, this one seems very, I don't know. And a lot of work went into making those shirts fit so good, which makes me happy. But no, I still dig it.
Well, I think it's funny in that Saulnier makes all of these decisions, like the costuming, like the set design, like you were mentioning, how all that stuff was sets, which I didn't know. Well, I like how he inserts little like visual gags in there too. It doesn't take you out of the movie, but like we were talking about how Pat is a bit of a meek character, at least at the beginning. And what shirt is he wearing? He's wearing a minor threat shirt because he's a minor threat at that juncture in the movie. Leah Shawkat's wearing a Dead Kennedys shirt. There's a poster for the Dillinger escape plan, which is a bit of foreshadowing in Tad's apartment where they crash at the very beginning of the movie. There's a bunch of stickers on the back of their van that serve as little foreshadowing kind of in-jokes. At the end, you see a sticker for Corpse Pile, which is actually pretty on the nose. Just these little details. I like that he inserts them. Like when Pat's walking to the door to open it up to toss out the gun, someone spray painted The Damned on the wall behind him. It's like, well, The Damned is a band, but they're also the damned in this situation, more or less, because they're, because of what they've stumbled across there. One could feasibly say that they are kind of cursed in a cursed situation. But going back to something you said, Mark, I agree with you about Saulnier not being able to make a movie like this really moving forward. So I'm glad he kind of jumped on that opportunity. And I got to admire how he set up these situations and scenarios that didn't seem to have exits. And I think that's another thing that lends this movie a real power and effect, even after watching it, I don't know how many times at this point, is that I still have that sense of, how are they going to get out of this? I know how they're going to get out of this, but I'm just taken back into that situation and that scenario of like, maybe I'm putting myself in their shoes and I'm like, oh my God, what would I do? How are they going to get out? It just seems like an impossible situation. And the more they get enmeshed in it, it seems like the more impossible it gets, actually.
And I love that Pat's pep talk about the paintball gets interrupted. And I love when Amber says, was that a pep talk? And later on, she says, listen, I want to hear this. And he tells this story about how they went to play some professional paintballers and they were getting shellacked. And eventually a guy had enough of it and he just went off the grid, went radar. And if you're used to if you're that professional, you're used to patterns. But if there's someone out there who's not fitting a pattern, he might beat you because it throws you so far off. It knocks you off balance. And that's actually true. So whatever. This is a weird story, but I used to be a bouncer. And when I was bouncing in St. Pete one time, it was the end of the night. Nothing good happens at the end of the night. But I heard a row going up in the upstairs bar. So I ran up there and I saw my manager being surrounded by people. So I jumped in, and it turned out to be these law students. I don't know why. It was a bunch of law students. And nothing against law students, but for some reason they were going after my manager. And so I got in there. The manager ran away, which is annoying. And I was like, okay, guys, like, let's go downstairs. Have a good night. Thank you. And they're like, no, we're not. I'm like, well, what are we going to do? And so I think they just wanted to fight. So they surrounded me. And this one guy looks at me and he goes, I'm going to kill you. He's like, I'm going to kill you. And so I kind of thought, well, I'm surrounded. There's a guy like grabbing my shoulder. And then there's like another guy kind of like getting ready to throw at me. So I just punched the guy in the face who said I was going to kill you. He's like, I'm going to kill you. So I hit him and he ran away. And then the rest of the guys, I had a guy grab my hand. So I had one guy grabbing my right hand. And then I just was hitting people with my left. Whoever was in front of me.
Wow.
And I scared the living daylights out of all of them. So I'm hitting them all. I'm just laying them all out. I had a guy behind me hitting me on the head with the back of a bottle. He wasn't even part of the law students. He just saw a fight and jumped in. And then he broke it on my head after 3 bonks and started like stabbing me in the back with it. But I'm still punching these law students, and I chase them all downstairs. And they all were like look shell-shocked by what happened, because I don't think they thought that this one guy who they're threatening to kill, and like they were like, you know, I had a guy grabbing on me, I had another guy about ready to hit me, was going to actually go after them. And that scared the living daylights out of them. So his story about paintball makes sense. And he had seen that before, Jeremy had. So when people act in a way that you don't expect, it does throw you for a loop. I mean, I can live by that. I was a mess the next day. Like my head was like spaghetti, and my back was all cut up, and like my hands hurt. But it felt good knowing that like that happened.
Well, you know what, Mark? That's a really interesting story. And first of all, I'm glad you're okay and you recovered from that. But I think that speaks to something that we're kind of getting at with this movie, is that you started off the conversation with the YouTube channel talking about bad decisions. I think like what you just said is like, it's this adrenaline rush. You know, you find yourself in this situation, the adrenaline is coursing through you. So of course you're not quite thinking straight. It's more like fight or flight. So obviously in that situation, you fought. You know, and I think that's kind of endemic of what the Ain't Rights were doing. You know, I imagine they were totally jacked up by, you know, what they'd seen, and then, you know, what happens to Pat, and then having to strategize what to do after that. And after they start losing people, it's just, you know, and I think sometimes that's the response. And the fact that the paintball story is about a guy going postal, what better way to encompass the punk notion of anarchy, you know, just chaos, than just like totally running out there in the middle of this paintball thing and just like blasting away, you know, because it's like screw strategies, screw maneuvers. It's just, you know, just kill them. Because they were playing real war. Yeah.
Sorry to tell you, I hope I didn't bring the mood down, but or like trying to make myself seem tough, but that's why this movie again connects with me, is because like you just see, like I've seen people, and being a bouncer for years, and you know I boxed for years too, and just seeing, like I remember the first time that I got hit by a real boxer. My mindset changed completely. I went, I am out of my league. I will never be able to do this. I am done. So that's why, like, when they're in these things, realizing how out of their depth they are, that's how, like, it changes you. I don't know. This movie gets me, man, and not just because of the violence, but I just think the authenticity and whatever. Hey, real quick, change the mood a little bit. What's your desert island? What's your fake? Actually, you and I are pretty real, so I don't think we'd have fake desert island bands. What's your desert island band? One.
Oh man, you know what? Yeah, it's a tough call. I would probably say Nine Inch Nails for me.
Oh wow.
If I could take all their catalog with me to a desert island, yeah, I'd be set. Yeah.
Oh man. See, okay. For me, it's either my favorite band Lucero or the Beach Boys.
Okay.
I have to narrow it down because you narrowed it down to one. Beach Boys is great. It's nice and light and fluffy, but it's all about hope and love. But then Lucero's music is all about whiskey, motorcycles, and heartbreak. So I feel like that's better on a desert island because you're not sitting there daydreaming about wouldn't it be nice. You're listening to songs about drinking whiskey and breakups, and so you're kind of bummed. Like you're not. Like it's that mindset.
You bring up a good point. I should have picked something a bit poppier and upbeat.
And you know what's interesting? So when I'd probably bring Lucero because I wouldn't want that like joy. When I worked on film sets when it was really cold, I would just stay outside. I hated going and getting warm because when you went back out, it was that cold again. Or really hot days, I never liked going into the air conditioning because you're acclimated to the heat. So I was like, I'm just gonna. You stay in the 98 degrees long enough, and you kind of, you never get used to it, but your body's like, okay, this sucks. But then you don't get a taste of something good. So I don't know if I'd want Beach Boys surfing a wave and being true to your school, stuff like that. I'd probably want to bring some Lucero and just get emotional on the beach while drinking coconut milk.
Yeah, I kind of like your vision of the desert island better than mine. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm on a desert island. I'm depressed. I'm gonna listen to Closer again. Yeah.
You and I? No. I mean, there's plentiful coconut milk. You can knock down coconuts. Friendly life. There's no poisonous snakes. For some reason, I don't know how, but there's fresh water. Don't ask me. There's a wonderful cave for you to live in that no one else has inhabited. There's no bears or yeti in there. Swamp apes.
And you could cool down in the cave too.
Yeah, you got a nice cave. You could sell her some wine that washes ashore. I mean, you have produce there for some reason. A plane crashed, right? And it was a plane full of seeds. And somehow in the middle of the island there's fertile ground, so you can make some great tomatoes. The bugs there aren't totally invasive, so you can grow a nice crop. You can have zucchini, plentiful wood, driftwood, so you don't have to chop down trees.
Mark, you've really thought this Lord of the Flies situation through quite well, Mark. I appreciate it.
When you get rescued, you're like, I don't want to leave.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm good here, and I fashioned a record player out of some tree bark and some pineapple needles off of a pineapple skin. So yeah, there we go. You're
laying on the beach one day. A really nice chair landed on the beach, floated up, and then one day I don't know what happens, but this boat pops up, no one in it. You can't take it anywhere because the waves will push you back in. There's no way to get away. But it's just loaded with Mach 3 razors and shaving gel and mirrors. So
I'm just gonna climb up to the top of a palm tree and do a lookout because it's like there's like a ship out there and it's like an IKEA boat and it runs aground and then all of these IKEA boxes wash ashore. So I make my own veritable city out of like IKEA furniture.
Oh my gosh! And there's Swedish meatballs that are frozen, so you have a week of just Swedish meatballs to eat.
Oh yeah, they'll just like clack some rocks together and rub some sticks and make a fire, and I'll just be eating Swedish meatballs, and I will be. It's like an IKEA on a desert island. Oh yeah.
And building all that stuff would take time. So you'd have stuff to do. You'd have a wonderful bookshelf at night.
Oh, absolutely.
You would sing 9 Inch Nails with the local animals. You all would just sit together like in Three Amigos and just sing. Had like a whole. Is that one of them?
Oh yeah. I was thinking maybe it'd be a little like the animals in Madagascar who are like prone to coming out and engaging in song and dance. That would be perfect. Only they'd be singing 9 Inch Nails. Yeah.
I like to move it, and you guys are just dancing. You guys are singing "Hurt" perfectly a cappella.
out of an acoustic guitar I fashioned out of wood cut down from a tree, and I don't know where I'd get the strings. Maybe some vines or
No,
whatever.
the tree fell, so you didn't kill it, so the spirit animals can't be mad at you. And so you just repurposed it.
Say there's a storm that goes by and lightning hits the palm tree and the palm tree is down and I notice it the next day. Yeah.
Exactly. And it cooked, it hits the coconut so hard that coconut flies out and lands in some custard you had. And then you saw some beautiful coconut custard.
Oh man, this is the most delicious island ever, Mark. This is truly fantasy island for me. Yeah.
And on this island, you never hear noises. You're like, what's that? And then something will be like, nothing. Okay, cool. So you're fine.
No, I kind of like that. It's Lord of the Flies without any threat, without any people to worry about. Just me, the animals, coconuts.
You find this. Remember on Dawn of the Dead when he's playing racquetball by himself? He's just down. Like you find a rock structure perfectly, and somehow you fashion a racquetball thing and a ball, and you just play racquetball with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I the only thing we'd be missing is like I really like cats, so there would have to be like maybe a ship would crash and like a house cat in its carrier would like float ashore maybe.
There's a really friendly puma population on the island, and they're very friendly. And there's enough.
Oh my gosh.
There's enough rodents to eat there, so they're satiated, and so you just become friends with the pumas. And when
you know what?
Oh, go for it.
No, you know what I'm thinking right now is like the puma is laying down to rest, and it's all curled up, and I just like back up against it, put my hands behind my head, and I lean up against the puma, and I go to sleep at night because the puma is so soft.
Yep, you guys are buds, and when the rescue boat finally comes, you're like shredded with an 8-pack, and you're running with a bunch of puma and little lemurs are riding on them, and everyone's just singing.
You know what I'm imagining, Mark? I'm imagining at this point all the animals coming around and the music swells, and in the ocean there's like a shark bobbing up and down with a smile on its face.
Oh, we mullet. Dolphins are doing like there's a little turtle on its back dancing.
Yeah, oh, it's beautiful, man. This is like seriously, if Pixar makes this their next movie, I'm going to be very mad because they better consult with us first.
Giant turtles just let you paddleboard on them.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a fantasy I've always had. It beats dismembering them in Cannibal Holocaust. That's all I gotta say.
I like that we went from fistfights to desert islands. That's MFF for you in a nutshell.
There we go.
All right, hey, so how about this? Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more Green Room. How's that sound? Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and man, we got real dark and then we got real light. That makes me so happy, man. Oh man, we didn't get to talk about fist fighting turtles. That's where all my conversations go. That'd be terrible, actually, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I think PETA and the ASPCA would have some words about that. Yeah.
I in college made a movie called Dirty Hoff. And remember those fake trailers I made? Those were the fake trailers for Dirty Hoff. Yeah. And well, my favorite one is that Jericho and his brother, who's just a total glue huffing idiot. Mad Max and his brother. Oh, I love that trailer. But yeah, so never mind. So I want to ask, there's a couple things we haven't talked about in this. There's a few characters I really want us to kind of dig into. And one of them is Daniel, played by Mark Webber.
I'm glad you said that because he is one of the things that I wonder about in this movie, so please go ahead.
Well, so Saulnier wanted to write him as the action hero. You look at him and you go, man, this guy could be a lead in an action movie. This dude looks like a badass. He's red shoes. He's obviously been up to some things, but he wants to leave. Him and his girlfriend, they want out. They realize how terrible it is. They have a crime weapon. They're going to turn it in. Who knows?
Yeah.
But what Saulnier does is he hooks him up. He sets him up as the hero. I'm going to save you. Well, they don't. And then he's like, well, they don't know that we have a shotgun. And then he just gets shot in the face. So you have this guy that comes in as sort of this saving grace, this sort of like an angel coming in to not an angel, just a guy who looks like a badass coming in to save him. He gets shot in the face.
He's kind of a double agent in a way. Yeah.
And it's just such, oh man, his face just gets shot.
Yeah, it's basically the whole side of his head gets exploded. Yeah.
I mean, what'd you
yeah,
think about him? No, like, what'd you think about this guy?
Well, I think something that's interesting about Saulnier's movies, like this one and Blue Ruin, is that there's a lot of stuff going on concurrently, but we're not always in on it. So it seems like while we're with one set of characters and then we're with another set of characters, we're kind of missing what the other characters are doing. So I was always kind of confused as to the Daniel thing and the Emily thing. Like, and what you said makes sense. I was like trying to piece together the story. Like, okay, they're trying to get out to incriminate and expose Darcy and his little operation. But I get that feeling because Saulnier even gives him like this sort of badass Brad Pitt in Fight Club red jacket to wear, kind of like this leather jacket that makes him look a little tough. I think the interesting thing about Mark Webber, the actor, is he's kind of short.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I took his sudden entrance into the situation and figuring out what had happened and like being, oh crap, I don't know that I really bought into it as like, okay, he's gonna save the day. Maybe because of what had happened leading up to that point, I was like, oh, everything is off the table. Anybody can go, So, but that was a fantastic moment where he's like, oh yeah, he's gonna get the gun from under the counter, and it's just this sudden shock. It's like a double take because the gunshot comes from another angle, so it totally catches you off guard. So it's like any chance kind of Darcy being exposed, and it does crush one's spirits a bit when that happens, because you think, okay, they have a +1 ally here to help them get out, and it's someone who knows the grounds and who's been within this scene for God knows how long. So okay, maybe things are looking up, but part of me throughout this movie had just these reservations in the back of my head, like, I really like you, I really want you to make it, and I don't know if that's going to happen. So,
man, I love how they set him up in the beginning when his name's Daniel, not Dan, and I love what he does to Tiger. He just backs Tiger up immediately, and just
we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, and the dude just curls. And for some reason, man, I bought into this Weber. I don't know. I bought into Weber Action Hero for a while. So I loved him in Scott Pilgrim. And I mean, to each your own. But for some reason, I just love that initial setup of him. And I haven't really seen him be like this. So I really dug it. And I guess I just, like you said, everything was off the table when he gets shot in the face. Oh, man. Oh, I'm laughing about that. But holy mackerel.
Well, it's almost like it's like when you think about it, it's just one of those absurd moments. Like it's like a real, oh, fuck. I'm sorry. PG-13 moment where it's just, oh, you're just totally like, I remember being knocked back in my seat when I saw it in the theater, and even again watching it a couple nights ago for the however manyth time, I'm like, it still throws me.
I love that character. And then another character I want to tackle is Amber, played by Imogen Poots. And she is essentially the hero of this movie. She does the majority of the killing. So in the first fight with Big Justin, she helps trip him, which then gives Reese the armbar on him. And then how do we know he's dead? She cuts his entire gut open with that.
Oh man, yeah.
And the whole time she's like, "Give me the gun. I'll take the gun." And they would have been better off if she had the gun. And it's just, I mean, they didn't have a right. They didn't trust her. I mean, she has this weird line in there where like, "You're a Nazi." She's like, "I'm not a Nazi." She's like, I just grew up around people who weren't my color, and it ended bad, right? That's what what'd she say?
She says, well, let me just put it this way: the people who tried to hurt me weren't white.
Ah, got it.
So it's a bit of a BS thing, I think. Yeah.
Where it's a weird. You hear it, and you're like, how young are you? Because she doesn't seem to have her heart really into it. I don't. Does she?
You mean the scene?
Like her character, like her, is she one? She is one of them, right?
Well, who are we talking about? One of whom?
Oh, Amber. She's one of this group, like the Red Laces, this crew.
Well, I don't know about the Red Laces. Actually, that's a good question. I wasn't paying attention to her shoelaces, but
oh no, she didn't have red laces.
But within that sort of like that scene or whatever, that neo-Nazi scene or whatever,
because Daniel did.
Yeah, so he had done some stuff to obviously get those. I actually understand the band's trepidation at like giving her anything at first, even though she's to them, she's the other. She's the outsider, despite the fact that, let alone the fact that they're pigeonholing her as being part of that group. So I don't really blame them for being reluctant to give her a weapon or whatever at first. But the fact of the matter is, I think she realizes the gravity of the situation really quickly. And like you said, probably quicker than the band does, because she's been in this and she's obviously seen her friend get stabbed in the head. She was in the room for it when it happened. So I think you're right. They might have saved some time, perhaps giving her a little more leverage in the situation. Though I think it's pretty quick. Things escalate pretty quickly, once Big Justin gets his arm broken and things start to go haywire within the room after Patrick Stewart shows up.
Oh, man. And then they leave the room, which leads to the deaths. And then Pat saves her from the dog because of the feedback. So
Which is ingenious, I think, yeah.
They kind of bond then. And I love the line where Darcy, and we'll get to Patrick Stewart later, where Darcy says, why don't you put 2 dogs in? He's like, they're fighting dogs. What do you think will happen? Which I love that. It's brutal. But it's at that moment where you go, oh, okay, why not just put a whole hound in there? Oh, because they'll kill each other. Oh, okay. I love the logic that gets established there. But, oh, sorry, go for it.
Well, no, I like that that's explained in dialogue, because if it wasn't, people would probably be, the people who think they would know what they would do in that situation would scoff at the bad guys, thinking, well, why don't you just unleash all the dogs? Why are you just unleashing one dog? So I'm glad that's clever on Saulnier's part. Yeah.
And they say it in such a understated way that it took me a few times to actually hear it, which I kind of love more about this movie. And what I like more is too, when they realize to go crazy after the paintball speech, she kills the guy upstairs and drops him down, and then she kills the guy downstairs when Pat just keeps messing up. And Pat, he's sprightly, but he keeps messing up, and she keeps killing. And at the end, Saulnier was saying this in the commentary, where the way she's holding her gun is not professional, but she's using it she's holding it to use it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like she's hunched over it like it's a crutch or something almost. But it's like, I don't know, maybe it makes a certain amount of sense. It seems like it would kick into your gut or whatever, the way she was holding it, but hey, whatever.
I mean, how would you know how to use it, right? And I like, she's the one that kills the dude right off the bat. And then she's like, no, I thought we came here to kill them. We're here to kill them. I'm going to kill these people. And she gets the line at the, oh, what? Oh, sorry.
Well, no, I love what she says. I love what she says to Pat. Pat's like, "Oh, we're still doing this," and she's like, "They're leaving a crime scene. Why don't we leave another?" It's very cold and it's very cold, and she's very done at that point. It's I think that's fantastic, actually.
And I love it when he goes to say his Desert Island Band, and she just says, "Tell somebody who gives a shit."
That's like one of the only, there are not a lot of funny bits in this movie, actually. And I'm glad Saulnier kind of released the tension valve at the end with that. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah. I think Poots, she's such a good actress, man. And so I just really dig the work she does. Hey, so let's do this real quick. I just thought about this. To promote her work, let's do an Imogen Poots draft that you can vote on Movies, Films, and Flicks the day after you hear this episode. So the day after it's released, go to Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook, and you can vote on this draft that Johnny Num and I are going to do right now, featuring Imogen Poots movies. So it's going to be you versus me. We'll each pick 5, and I'll give you first pick.
Can we do Green Room?
Yep, you can do Green Room.
I'm going to steal Green Room.
All right, I'll take Fright Night.
Ah.
She's so good in that, man. It's that movie. So we've covered that in the podcast. I could talk about that movie once a year. I love that movie so much.
You know what's funny, Mark, is I actually did a podcast on this, which unfortunately is kind of lost at the moment. But I did a podcast with Billy Crash like back when this was in theaters. So this isn't my first time talking about Green Room, but it's like a movie I love so much I could just talk about it ad infinitum. So
yeah, once a year I could do it.
Oh, absolutely. And you'd still find new stuff to talk about, too. So, yeah.
And the way we jump around, we definitely would.
Oh, yeah.
More fighting stories.
I was gonna say the 10-minute aside about desert islands and Fantasy Island. Is it my turn?
Yep.
I'm looking at our IMDb. V for Vendetta, please.
Oh, yeah, that's solid. I'm gonna do 28 Weeks Later because I love that movie and Rose Byrne is in it and she's great.
I need to see that one again.
It's mean. It's mean. It's mean. There's some death.
I remember. I remember liking it more than 28 Days Later, actually.
That opening chase scene. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, with Robert Carlyle. Oh, I got one. Pop Star.
Wait. Oh, she's in Pop Star.
She plays what's his
Oh
freaking
yeah.
name? Andy Samberg's character. She's his girlfriend, and then they get married, and then I think they get divorced or something.
Oh, I'm so angry at you for picking that.
Oh, that movie is so good.
Oh man, there's so many in here. This is so. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna do Filth because I love James McAvoy's performance in that, and I think she's excellent holding the screen with him. So I'm gonna go there.
I forgot about that one, but she is good in that one, definitely. You know what? This movie didn't get a lot of love last year, but I think of all the things that are wrong.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Why? Because you want it?
Are you doing the Art of Self-Defense?
No.
Oh, okay,
no.
Cool. All right, what are you doing?
No, okay. Apparently, we're on totally different wavelengths with this. Say what you will about this movie, but you cannot argue the fact that Imogen Poots is absolutely excellent in it, and it's the Black Christmas remake.
All right, so she's good in it. I need to watch it.
I mean, if nothing else, if you like Imogen Poots, check it out because she's excellent in it.
All right, I'll do that. Let's see. You know what? I said don't do it, so I'm gonna do the Art of Self-Defense because it's the weirdest movie. It is so odd, and she's a karate person who just beats the daylights out of people, and it's very dry. It's you know how I know she seems so. I know people worked on a movie with her and said she's great, but okay. So she works with she does Fright Night and then she does Green Room with Anton, and then she does Need for Speed, then she does Long Way Down with Aaron Paul. And then now she did the Art of Self-Defense, and she just did Vivarium with Jesse Eisenberg. So people must love working with her.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, she seems like a sweetheart. So yeah.
All right. Last pick.
Oh, is it my turn? I haven't seen it, but you just mentioned it. I want to see it. Vivarium.
Oh.
Have you seen it, Mark?
No, it's on Hulu. I'll give it a watch. And here's my last one. Need for Speed.
Aaron Paul.
I love my wife and I have watched that movie so many times. It's we've watched it. I adore Need for Speed, man. We've watched it so many times. And
tell me this, Mark. How big is her role in it? Because maybe I'll see it for her.
Oh no, it's big. So she and Aaron Paul go on a cross country trip. So in the beginning, she kind of acts. She's like, "Oh yeah, what's in this car?" But then she knows more about them, and so she's with this guy driving this really expensive car across country to get him in a race. So it's a major role.
You know, I keep getting that movie confused with the Ethan Hawke, Selena Gomez movie Getaway for some reason.
I mean, it's just, okay. Dude, Rami Malek is in it. Really great. Ooh. Michael Keaton is in it.
Okay. All right. You're selling me on it. You're definitely selling me.
Kid Cudi's in it. Scott Muscudi. I just know Kid Cudi. I like him a lot. I like his music. All right. So there's so many good movies. Let's do one more. Let's go all the way here, man. Let's do one more movie. So I'll let you have one more pick.
You know, the only other one that I can think of off the top of my head, because me and my girlfriend redboxed it one night. It's not that great, but She's Funny That Way.
Yeah. Okay. Who's that?
Peter Bogdanovich movie.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's her, Owen Wilson. It's like there's a huge ensemble cast in it.
All right, I'll have to look that up. She's in a movie with Michael Shannon too, which seems weird.
Oh, okay.
Frank and Lola.
Oh yeah, I think that's one I've wanted to see, and because of the two of them, but I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
Have you watched Knight of Cups by Terrence Malick?
No, I haven't seen his last couple of movies. No.
So I try to watch all of them. I mean, New World's one of my favorite movies ever made. Thin Red Line, Badlands. I really liked Tree of Life. Oh my gosh. But so that movie, Knight of Cups, it's Christian Bale just going around dating Frida Printo, Imogen Poots, just a bunch of different actresses. And then that's just him just kind of acting depressed and going around dating people. Like, this is a very... I can't. I don't like it, and it bummed. I liked The Wonder too. It didn't get. I was like, why am I watching this movie? I did not like it. Just give me a heads up.
Yeah, thanks. It wasn't on my watch list, so yeah, I'll probably just keep it that way.
My final one is I Kill Giants. I really like that movie. But we watched that. It's about this young girl who kind of gets these. I think her sister is Imogen Poots. and she starts imagining in her head that she can kill these giants and protect people. And it's a good movie, man. I dig it. But she's in it, so.
I saw someone on, I think, Twitter today, actually, where they took a photo of it. I was like, oh, Imogen Poots in this movie I've never heard of before. Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
It's a good cast. So we watched that. So this is fun. So go on Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook, and you can vote for our Imogen Poots squad. No matter who loses, Imogen Poots wins. That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely, and hopefully it encourages some people to see some Imogen Poots movies they haven't seen yet.
Dude, I love these movies. Yeah, we're big fans. All right, so another character I want to bring up is we haven't talked to him yet, and it's Darcy, played by Patrick Stewart. And
yes,
one of the things about this movie that I love the most is when at the end he ends up just walking away from a gunfight and he gets shot in the head, and it's a very awkward moment. Mm-hmm. I love how Pat, this really meek guy who's been a minor threat, let's say, throughout the film.
Yeah.
He looks at him and he just sounds like you sounded scarier at night. So you were so scary at night. But then he sees him and he realizes this was the man they were afraid of, who has this whole front to make heroin, who has these red laces do things for him to he's using these kids. He's using these kids. But yeah. I just love that line. You were so scary at night. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's chilling. Yeah.
It's true though, right? Like, it's just, he sees him, and he was this symbol that he didn't see, right? He was just a voice. And then when he saw him, and I think that sums up a lot of this world, man. There are these leaders who have this power, but then you see them, and they're not that powerful. It hit me hard hearing him say that, just Pat saying that to the guy. And because when he feels that, it's interesting.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the steely demeanor has been sort of transferred from Darcy to Pat, because Pat has gone through total hell that night. I'm just amazed that he's able to walk around without his arm basically falling off, even with the duct tape on it. But I'll suspend my disbelief. But yeah, it's like Pat is just totally like, his voice is like ice. It's like, because he's wearing that camo, he's got I like the ellipsis with the Sharpie drawings on the faces. Mm-hmm. It's just like he has entered into combat, against what he wished to do. Just circumstances panned out that way, and he was forced to kind of rise to this, I don't want to call it heroic, but he just had to find a way to self-preserve. And yeah, it really is. It's a very steely moment, and the fact that Patrick Stewart can't even face the two of them is just so telling about him. It's like, oh, I'm in the light, I'm exposed, and don't look at me kind of thing, almost, because I'm this shameful old man kind of thing. Yeah, but I'm like a total savage and a total manipulator of things, and I've probably done plenty of awful things in my lifetime. So yeah,
and it's just really interesting where. So they call it, so that, I guess we never talked about that, what happens, but have you seen the movie where Pat goes in to grab a phone after they're set, then he sees that a woman's been killed and they get trapped, but he has time to call the cops. And the cops come, they have an extra $600 to pay these two twins to stab each other. They get arrested, the cops leave. But I like when they borrow money, he borrows money from Clark, who also has his dogs. They have to check their books. They try to run a tax property. And this is a guy who, he inspires leadership. When Daniel asks the Red Laces who has smoked tonight, he takes the ones who haven't. They seem very organized. It's an organized unit, and Darcy's led to that. And at the end, when the two kids are hunting down Amber and Pat, when they've gone full war, they're afraid. They're like, what is going to happen to us? Why? Don't tell Darcy. This is going to be bad. They have a fear of him. It's an interesting fear that they've built from him.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of interesting that, that's a good point. And there's another dialogue moment where Saulnier kind of cuts off what some snarky viewers are probably thinking when those two guys are looking down in that hole, and the one guy says, "This is a trap, and then the other guy's like, "Yeah, no, shit, you want to tell Darcy?" So he sort of cuts it off at the pass. It's like he knows that these characters aren't stupid. They're acknowledging that, okay, there's something going on here. We don't know what, but, we were sent in here to clean up, quote unquote, the situation. So and we don't want the guy, and we don't want that guy we're working for or scared of, or who's going to promise us something to think less of us. So yeah, or punish us. Yeah.
Hey Darcy, they're kind of, it's like we can't really get in there. Can we just, Darcy, let's do something else. Send a dog in after him.
This will all be over with soon, gentlemen.
So, Darcy, man, you're over here at your compound, you got these dogs. How about we just, they're in this little bunker down there. I know your heroin's in there, but how about we just smoke them out? Let's smoke them out. Darcy, come on, smoke them out. Get back in there, kids. Oh, Darcy, man. Darcy, come on. Come on.
I have an AARP subscription. You need to do it for me.
What I say goes. Darcy, come on. In my head, I'm thinking of Curb. I'm envisioning Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I'm doing a terrible impersonation of that guy. So just know that's where my voices are coming from.
You know something, Mark. And I don't know if you wanted to talk about the character of Gabe at all.
Oh yeah, Gabe. Making Blair. I don't feel at home in this world anymore. Boom.
Yeah, and he was the star of Blue Ruin. He's fantastic in that.
Oh gosh.
Something about his character, I thought he was interesting because, the more you're talking about these younger guys who are like going in step with Darcy's demands, whether to curry favor and get rid of their red laces or whatever, but Macon Blair, Gabe plays this character who feels like one of those hanger-on guys, like he's been there forever. He's older than everybody else. And it seems like he gets some of the crap detail with things like Darcy sends him in to clean up the crime scene later in the film, while stuff is going on down in the drug dungeon. I just thought it was interesting because he seems to get like pushed around and bullied. And, at one point Darcy says, I think they're smarter than you, and pushes him against the wall. It's just he gets shoved around a lot, and you just get this feeling that he's, for all intents and purposes, he's kind of the sort of the manager,
that's what he is, the house manager.
Yeah, he's one under from Darcy, yet he still doesn't get much respect from his coworkers or the people in the scene. So, and even when he has the two guys stab each other, he has them give the money he gave them back, and he says something weird like, oh, it'll be vouchers and stuff, and we'll double it if you have to serve time, like that means anything. So I just think it's interesting, kind of like the double talk and the manipulation of people within this scene. And when there's an ethos kind of at play, and people are, I think it's interesting. Okay, here's something I find interesting is that young people are susceptible to the messaging of music and philosophies, because I feel like it can be good or it can be bad, because our critical thinking hasn't quite come into play. So we're looking to stuff to kind of make sense of our world. And when we find something that seems kind of in step with that, we kind of latch onto it and run with it for a time anyway.
When you are young, and let's say that you are underappreciated at home, or your parents are not around, or you grew up misunderstood, or you have no one to talk to, and then you meet this Darcy.
Yeah.
He doesn't look at you as a human. He looks at you as someone, as a follower. So he's going to tell you what you want to hear. You're a family. We're not a party. We're
this is a movement.
Yeah, a movement. And so I'm going to do my Sean Connery for him. And so these people start to feel like, I believe, I get these red laces, I have a father figure, tough love, I'm part of something, they accept me. And all these kids are broken. I mean, they've all been led to hate. And so you are, I'm not condoning it, but it's easy to see how kids can be wrapped up in with situations like that when you are given attention, when you feel like you're part of a group, even when you probably I don't even know if you believe in it, you just think there's a group.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. I just think that's so interesting with these different kind of kids and the way that he sucked them in and the true believers. And it's all for drugs. It's all BS. But it's, I don't know, man. And I liked his character. I don't want to go to jail. He's obviously a part of it.
Yeah.
He was in over his head in this situation. I mean, he had probably never dealt with that. He didn't know that Worm was going to go crazy and stab somebody in the face. And I don't know, yeah.
But you know something, Mark? I think what you were saying kind of about Darcy and his power, going back to Darcy for a minute, and I think something that Saulnier touches on is kind of like, well, these are kids sort of latching on to a group and, oh, hey, this sounds good to me. And then on the other side, you have the punks who are against the neo-Nazis basically. And I think it's kind of interesting. It's like, well, which side are you which did you gravitate towards, And I think that's why people often go through when they're younger in their teens or early 20s, they go through a phase where it's like, oh, it's your goth phase. It's your punk phase. I still have all of my punk CDs from when I was in my early 20s and the stuff that really left an impression on me and that I still listen to and still really take bits of philosophy and stuff from just to kind of help grapple with the craziness of life in America. But at the same time, I think, I just think that's why at some point you're like, I got to get a job. I got to sort of, there's something that becomes less romantic perhaps about being in a certain scene. But again, that's contingent on your ability to kind of, I suppose, like take that step away and maybe kind of look at yourself and think for yourself. And I know that's kind of part of the punk ethos is kind of thinking for yourself, even though a lot of the music is kind of like not didactic, I want to say, but kind of like it's like do this, do that, do this, do that kind of thing. Yeah. So
yeah, like kind of telling you how to think.
Yeah, but it's kind of helping you think.
Yeah.
I think it's successful when it's like you take that and you do go think for yourself and you do start to think outside the box. So I think in that sense it is helpful, and God knows I get a sense of comfort still from listening to my punk albums. So yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm not going to try to hide it. I mean, I know they're not punk, but more like emo screamo. But I still love my Taking Back Sunday. I love my Rise Against. I love my Blink. I'll cruise around jamming out to these guys all day. I dig it. Like Rise Against, man. I love Rise Against.
Oh, and you know what? I'll admit that sometimes I'll just put this stuff on because it will like instantly transport me back to that time when I first discovered it and first started listening to it, and it still has that effect on me. And I think that's another big thing. It's like, it's like that was a good time. I can remember how I was back then, but it's like I can still feel like I've made progress with myself at the same time. So it's interesting getting older and getting more introspective about so many things. Yeah.
I used to listen to this song because I grew up kind of, I don't know, super, not blue collar, but just, so there's a song called Swing Life Away by Rise Against, where it's like, we live on front porches and swing life away, we'll get by just fine here on minimum wage. If love is labor, we'll slave to the end. We'll slave to the end. And I was kind of thinking about it, and when I was younger, I'm like, yeah, it's great, we'll get by just fine. And then I'm kind of like, well, I want more. And,
yeah.
It's interesting how you grow up and learn, man. And I think a lot, that's why a lot of these kids that you see that are part of this group, I mean, the little kids that stab themselves can't be more than, they're under 18.
I was going to say, probably, yeah.
So you get these impressionable minds and, when they're young, and then maybe they get smart like Mark Webber's character does, and they leave because they realize, whoa, I don't want to be part of this world anymore. So it's kind of an interesting game, I guess. A lot of young kids there.
Yeah, and actually that's a really good point about Mark Webber's character. He's kind of like the example of the one who kind of wants to get away from it because he is kind of at that precipice kind of like I don't need this. I don't need this old man telling me what to do. And I frankly I think he's a bit effed up in the head, with what he's doing. So it's like I can totally get with that. It's an interesting little wrinkle there.
There's just so much about this movie. I love this movie. It's too good. It's annoying.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Every time I watch it, it's still the same. It's still the same 9 out of 10 movie that I saw when I first saw it in the theater. The effect, nothing diminishes about it. Each time I watch it, I'm taken on that same tense, bloody ride. Yeah.
And this movie's no mistake. I mean, so they bought all that corn to drive into.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so he paid, in the commentary, he said he wished he hadn't done that. But for that shot, they bought all that corn. And to get that shot. In this movie, when you start watching it, the camera just gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter like a vice. It's not an accident. You said, that score that they play, the music, when Pat finally speaks up at the end, when, like you said, when they release the pressure valve with Amber's
someone who
line.
gives a shit.
Yeah, exactly. This is a movie that just, it's not good by accident. I don't think this is one of those movies that came together in the reshoots.
Oh no, absolutely not. Yeah.
I know that Orson Welles likes to talk about happy accidents, and perhaps Saulnier found some of that in the film. But I do think he knew what he was doing. And one cool thing is, that the band was 4 men. And then he had Alia Shawkat come in and she auditioned, and he gave her the role. And it was really interesting what he said. He's like, man, I was like thinking the whole time just 4 dudes. And I think that really changed his way of writing and thinking. Because I'm telling you, this happens where you don't think outside the box. You've been raised to not. Like, there's no consequence to not doing it. So when he brought her in, she really played the instrument. Her and Anton actually could play. So the other 2 guys learned how to play, and they played at the rap party. They played a hardcore set at the rap party.
Yeah, I did see that in the featurette on the Blu-ray. Yeah,
it's just so cool. Like, it's just this movie that it just came together. There wasn't much prep time, but they did it. It was controlled. It was, I mean, every single one of these blood gags you had to plan. You can't do that on the day. You have to have months for this.
And they are so the gore gags are so freaking good in this. I felt like I was watching Dario Argento or Lucio Fulci film at certain points, because it was so much like that extreme Italian horror style of hacked limbs and ripped out throats, and it was glorious. Yeah.
So I don't know. This movie wasn't a mistake. I love it. I'm glad you came in to talk with me about it. And
sure.
Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, see it if you haven't already. It is one of those movies, Mark, where I heard about it and I got excited about it, and it not only met my expectations, it sort of just like went through the roof. As I was watching it, I was thinking it would be good, and as it went on, I was just really pleased and impressed with just how good it was. It's a great movie.
Do you want to promote any of your stuff before we get out of here?
Yeah, sure. You can find my movie reviews and the Last Knock Horror podcast on crashpalaceproductions.com. You can find some of my other writing at 1428elm.com. Actually, I have a piece it'll have long since posted by the time this show's up, but I wrote about Carnage Park versus The Hunt, and
you like Carnage Park more?
Yes, I do.
Spoiler alert. Is that Lucky Yates who did that?
No, it's a guy named Mickey Keating.
Oh, Mickey Keating. Got it.
And you can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Johnny Numb. There are no H's in those Johnnies, but there are B's in the Nums.
I gotta tell you, have you watched Cheap Thrills?
Oh, yes. Oh, we should do that one next.
No, yes. That's one of my favorite. So I bought that from a Blu-ray machine in an Alamo Draft House, and I think so. That led me to think about just Pat Healy and David Koechner's finest performance, and Ethan Embry's finest performance, and Sarah Paxton. Yeah. She's really good in that. Everyone's really good in that movie.
It's a messed up movie too. Yeah.
And feel good series. Well, we gotta do First Reform first.
Oh, and we were gonna do Killer Joe too, so we've got a really big platter. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we're talking Bully, but that might murder me. I don't know. That's a oof.
The important thing is, Mark, we have a theme going, and we have a plethora of films to choose from. Yeah. So
we can keep pushing that one back.
I love First Reform, though. I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, we got it. We got to do that because we've been kind of pushing that back. So we got to do First Reform next, and then we can talk about Cheap Thrills. I'm down. We're set through like 2021.
Sounds good, man. I'm very excited about continuing this series. Yeah.
I love it. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Johnny Numb, this is Movie Souls and Flicks. We'll see you next week.